This is a quick video demonstration of the autofocus performance of the Lumix G5 here with a couple of my 4/3 lenses. I have here the Leica 14 to 50 millimeter zoom lens. It came as a kit lens on the Lumix L1 camera. And I have attached to the G5 here with the Lumix 4/3 to micro 4/3 lens adapter. Now real quick, I want to point out that, as you can see, the lens is focused to infinity. I have it set here on my little camera model here, my little studio. And I'm going to show you here on my screen just how well this lens does. If I engage autofocus. As you can see, it's not the quickest in the world, but it does indeed focus quite well once it has focus. It is a bit faster, although it still has to do its little check. And if I switch lenses here, I have another lens I want to show you. Turn the camera on. I'll take this over here. Now this lens is the Sigma 105 macro for 4/3. I apologize for this camera view. I'm trying to do this one-handed. Now I've had a lot of issues with this lens here. Now I've used this lens on my EP2 with no issues whatsoever. But for whatever reason with this lens, if I engage autofocus again, of course keep in mind the crop isn't exactly the same as it was before. This lens will never autofocus correctly. As a matter of fact, looking at this demonstration here, it looks like I'm getting severe back focus with this lens, which I find very odd considering the contrast-based autofocus on this camera. So if I switch to manual focus and dial it in about where I want it, about like that, looks pretty good, you would think that the camera would simply lock on now, but it doesn't. It still skips and will miss focus every time if I use autofocus with this lens. I don't know what the issue is with it. I like to use this lens as a portrait lens, and often, of course, will use autofocus when I've used it on my L1. So I'm just curious if anyone has had any issues with the lens behaving like this on another Lumix or other micro 4/3 body, and just see if there are any suggestions that might explain why this lens is doing this.